Welcome to Whistleblowers in partnership with Wix Trade Pro. Coming up. And I remember being driven around in a white Rolls Royce with Rachel Stevens, and we went for dinner in the Carlton, and Pele came for dinner with David Dean, and it was one of the best experiences of my life.
People want the sexy football. What is sexy football? What is it? People want results. They want a 1-0 win, 2-0 win, 3-0 win. Or is it a result?
I met up with Stan Collymore a number of years ago, and I remember distinctly being going West Ham Liverpool, and he made the mistake of turning left instead of right in the celebration. Goes in front of the chicken run, and he stands there, arms out, and I remember seeing it, a cup of tea hit him square on the head.
We had to get changed as quick as possible because we had to follow the away team out to get out with the police escort, because if you didn't, it was a nightmare. So we used to always try and tag on the back of the away team bus so we could get out of the place.
Welcome to Whistleblowers, the podcast. I'm the YTS Des Lynham, Gordon Smart, the Drinking Women's Jamie Dornan. And in a seasonal shift to his wardrobe, we have the one and only Mark Clattenburg, who's gone from a nice pastel colour to black, all black this week. Is that because it's now September?
No, it's because I've put on a bit of weight and black makes you skinny.
It's purely down to vanity.
Probably.
It's good to see you, Mark Clattenburg. How many rounds of golf this week?
Just the ones.
Just the one? How did you get on?
Bang average.
Bang average, brilliant. So that's an upward trajectory from shite the week before. Right, Mark Clattenburg is here, and I've got a special guest today. Now, sadly, Ian Ladyman couldn't be with us. We wish him well. He'll be back next week. But in his place, I've pulled in the ultimate substitute, a man I worked with for the best part of 15 years at the Current Bun at the Sun newspaper. You talk about tribe and people belonging to a tribe. Well, this man, can I reveal your football team before we even start this? Are you free to do that?
Some people don't even need to reveal it, because I met a bloke on a train once, and he asked me after 10 minutes, who do I support? And when I told him, he said, I knew anyway. He was a total stranger. He said, I could just tell you support that team.
That is the voice of West Ham fan and Sun reporter Andy Dillon. It's great to see you, Dills.
Oh, it's good to be here. Thanks very much for inviting me on, mate.
I've missed you. I used to sign off Andy Dillon's expenses at the Sun, and he'd always kind of push the envelope a little bit by having an extra bag of crisps. I think you were allowed, £23 a day?
I once did, for a laugh, put through, I think it was 26 quid for pizza, and told him it was pizza with Pele, because I'd been to a Viagra thing with Pele, and I did it for a laugh, and the manager there came stomping up the said, are you having a laugh? Yeah. And I said, he was the best, he deserves the best. And he laughed, and he signed it off.
Where can you get a pizza for £26?
I thought you could say, where'd you get a pizza and Viagra for £26?
Pele made sure to tell us, actually, when I got my one question with him, that he never has to use it, or had to use it. He did. He was absolutely no debate about it. Made sure that everybody knew he didn't need Viagra.
Absolutely brilliant. That's why Andy Dillon is here, Mark Clattenburg. Did you ever meet Pele in a state of arousal? I met Pele once, actually. I met Pele. This is a ridiculous showbiz story, but I was down in Cannes for something. I can't remember what it was. And this is ridiculous, but Rachel Stevens from S Club 7 was there.
Oh, yes.
And if you remember, she was dating David Dean's son. Gavin Dean, I think it was.
Yeah, Gavin.
Right? So not Darren, the agent.
Which way? I think it was Gavin. Maybe it was Darren. I can't remember. She was dating David Dean's son anyway. And she was the voice of Sky Sports for a year. I don't know if you remember, they always have a famous song as the intro music. So there was some convoluted event on in Cannes. And I remember being, this is ridiculous, driven around in a white Rolls Royce with Rachel Stevens. And we went for dinner in the Carlton. And was that in Nice? Or was it in Cannes? It was in Cannes. And Pele came for dinner with David Dean, and it was one of the best experiences of my life, sitting having dinner with him.
Wow.
Amazing stories, eh?
Were you too nervous to actually talk to him, or did you?
No, I was just desperate to get some Viagra from him. Bought him a pizza. There's a wee showbiz story to start. So Andy Dillon, right, you've had an interesting time, right? How many years did you do at the Current Bun?
26, minus 1 week.
That's unbelievable. 26 years, and you've just recently left.
Yes.
And here you are, immediately over.
I know.
At the Daily Mail Towers.
Yes,
it's a well-trodden path, that, isn't it, Andy?
It is. In fact, well, my brother's the editor of the Mail on Sunday, so he's about 2 offices away somewhere. So, it does. It feels strange, but it feels good, though.
Do you feel liberated? Do you feel like a new man?
My wife says she feels like a new man.
So, Mark, right, here's the opening question. Right? Have you ever written a story about Mark Clattenburg in the Current Bun?
I think we were talking earlier, and there would have been, and I think I said, make this man a knight of the realm. Yeah. I said, he's the best. he deserves the best. He's up there with Pele, so to speak.
Yeah. What with the Viagra in his
absolutely full of blue pills.
It was always only ever complimentary.
Yeah.
We were like that on The Sun. It was always just...
It's famous for that, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Referees are human. They make mistakes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very, very balanced. You'll remember it well, Mark, I would imagine.
Yeah, very well.
Any significant moments you remember Mark Clattenburg being involved in at Upton Park?
We've just been discussing that one.
Do you know what? I can't remember any specifics, but Mark was actually saying he used to like refereeing it, or there were certain parts of it that were no-go zone.
Upton Park was brilliant.
Great ground.
Yeah, I love when the bubbles went up and the crowd was on top of you, and even the drive in and out. Because after the game, we had to get changed as quick as possible because we had to follow the away team out.
Did you?
To get out with the police escort, because if you didn't, it was a nightmare getting out, wasn't it? So we used to always try and tag on the back of the away team bus so we could get out of the place. But I remember we were just saying about a game, wasn't it? We're playing Manchester United, and I remember quite briefly was I've left Newcastle in snow, and us Northerners know how to handle a bit of snow. So we've had snow for about the best part of a month. And
must have been
on
July
and off the drive. Yeah, was I? And it was. I remember driving because I didn't want to risk a flight, so I drove, and the M25 got a little sprinkling of snow. All of a sudden, everything's come to a standstill. So we used to meet up at Dartford, the hotel on the opposite side. Was it the Hilton or something on the other side of the Dartford Bridge?
Mm-hmm. So Hilton in Dartford. Wow.
So I've snailed across the M25, got to this hotel, which was on the bank, which took us ages to get up because I had a bloody BMW, which were a nightmare in the snow. To get a phone call, go straight to the ground because nobody can get. Yeah. The driver can't pick you up, and there's nobody. None of the other match officials can get there. So I gets to Upton Park, drives to Upton Park, arrives late, and they're playing Manchester United. And was it a quarter-final of the Cup?
I can't remember what round it was, but
I think it was quarter-final. Yeah. And Man United had a really good team then. I think Salix was there, and there was strong Man United's team. And West Ham beat them 4-0. Wow. What an atmosphere that night. Yeah. What an atmosphere.
Yeah.
Because they beat Man United
4-0. I think it was pretty much Man United's reserve youth team that was out that night.
Wasn't as bad as that.
I'm being flippant.
West Ham had Man United's number a couple of times.
Old
Trafford and won, didn't they?
Yeah, there was an American guy. We had Jonathan Spector, who was the hero of the night. And I was off duty that night, which is why my memories of who refereed it were a bit fuzzy because I'd been in the Queen's pub.
I know, you didn't know because I was under the radar.
And the thing I always remember about that, there were three great things that happened. One was when the fourth goal went in, we were so excited. I was in my 40s then. I could stand up on a seat, and my foot went down the back of the seat in front of me, and I went flying forward into the people in front of me. Then I have got a friend, a good mate of mine called Trucker, who's a bus driver. He couldn't make it that night, and he was driving, I think it was the number 26 from Waterloo Station up to North London somewhere. Had a earpiece on, driving along, and he got so excited he missed a bus stop. He told us later he actually missed a bus stop.
Well, ended up in Watford.
And but the most memorable thing was a couple of weeks later, West Ham, like all football clubs, never short of an idea to make a few quid. They brought out a commemorative mug in honour of beating Manchester United in the League Cup, and it said something like "We hammered United." And they're still you can still get them on retro sites. And I thought to myself, do you know what? What does that tell you about West Ham? Because if every time a team beat West Ham in the Cup, if they brought out a commemorative mug, the price of China clay would be higher than that of gold on the open market because it happens so often. It was just so typical of West Ham to do that. But it was a great, great night.
Now, it makes sense to talk about West Ham because, I think you might have said, Mark, on the podcast a good few weeks ago that West Ham could be in a bit of trouble and could be in a relegation contender this season. And the struggles continued. Only 3-0 home defeat to Spurs. I think it's 11 goals in 4 games conceded, 18th in the league. 125 million quid, Andy Dillon, spent in the summer. Wow. Graham Potter, first of all, what are your thoughts, having written about West Ham as well as supporting them?
I really want Graham to succeed because I dealt with him when he was at Chelsea, and I do think that experience has really
damaged them, isn't it?
Really burnt him.
Yeah,
because he went there as the up and coming, energetic, forward thinking, left field thinking coach. when he was in Sweden, wasn't it? He used to got his players to perform Swan Lake to get them out of their comfort zone. Yeah. And he was really meant to be really good with players like that.
Or like Russell Martin, just take them in the actual lake.
So, he's not a shouter, and I don't think you have to be a shouter to be a good manager and get a team behind you. But what we're seeing is you've got a team out there that needs shouting out, and a club that needs shouting out because it's so weak and feeble. But the key thing being at home.
Headed goals as well. Like, I would always think of West Ham as a team with a bit of a fortress at the back, when it came to corners and set pieces and things.
Well, I've got a friend of mine who goes absolutely every game. And he's been studying the defence closely because that's usually where the ball is in our box. We talked about Max Kilman, and he said he's a great ball-playing centre-half, really good bringing it forward. Mm-hmm. But what he needs next to him is someone with a head on him. Yeah. Like, so we used to have Craig Dawson, or we had Kurt Zouma. And you could see why they were going for Harry Maguire, because he needs someone like that next to him. Yeah. And he hasn't got that because we've got Mavropanos, who is such a weak link. Yeah, really is. That's where the problems are. So many of those goals I'm looking at, I just suddenly see the number 15 pop up, and there he is right in the middle of it as one of the main culprits.
Here's the thing as well, Mark. I know you've got an insight into how clubs are run after spending a bit of time with Nottingham Forest, right? But there always seems to be a bit of a shadow over the way West Ham's run. What are your thoughts on that?
Now, the thing is, with West Ham, you're looking back previous years, and I think, and I've said this before with West Ham, is sometimes clubs, and we're seeing it time and time again, people want this sexy football. Mm-hmm. What is sexy football? What is it? Do we want results? Do we want a 1-0 win, 2-0 win, 3-0 win? Or is it a result?
I think sexiest football I've seen is Bournemouth in the last 2 seasons.
But they're not winning any. They're not. I think West Ham, people expect, rightly or wrongly, and I think probably wrongly now, because there's so many good teams in the Premier League now. Not everybody wins a trophy. West Ham won the Conference League, which was a huge step forward as a club. Yeah, they replaced David Moyes, who's doing well again at Everton.
Yeah, won some silverware,
and now they want this attractive football. Yeah, and they lose the results. They lose the stability. Yeah. And now they're running the risk. I like Graham Potter. I think Graham Potter's a great guy. I think he's a dynamic young coach. But how does he get them out of this rut? They've signed the players now, so they've got the squad. They're weak in a lot of positions. I think one of the if you look at West Ham, you're signing Callum Wilson. That's a step. I like Callum Wilson.
He wasn't the starter for Newcastle, was he? And
he was injured a lot. Yeah, he was injured a lot. B, he wasn't really scoring goals. Yeah. If you look at his goals last year, he didn't score many goals.
Were you excited by that signing, Andy?
Only in the typically sort of perverse way a football fan does, in that Callum Wilson always used to score against West Ham. Someone has had a brain. Let's finally get this bloke on side.
Yeah. So he couldn't score against you?
Yeah, so at least he can't score against us.
What's the West Ham way, Andy?
The West Ham way. So David Moyes, when he first took over, we all went for a drink with him, and I was talking to him, and I revealed my loyalties, and we were having a chat, and he said, "You West Ham fans," he said, "you seem to be happy if you've got a player who can sort of dribble a little bit, play a little bit of a fancy football, bit of footwork, flick a couple of flicks and get into the other team's half. You seem to be happy." And this is where I've got to disagree a bit with Mark, because West Ham fans don't expect trophies. What they expect is a team that tries. Yeah. They expect a lively atmosphere at home games. Mm-hmm. They love a lively atmosphere at away games, and they expect a bit of decent football. And let's have the odd cup run. Let's not roll over against Chelsea at home. Let's not roll over against Tottenham at home. Let's not let in 5 against Arsenal at home. Let's have something at home that makes it a bit difficult to come to.
The London Stadium's emptying after 70 minutes, isn't it?
Yeah. They're doing well for that. I mean, my mate left at 2-0 against Tottenham on Saturday. He just had enough. And I went to the Chelsea game, and this is where so much of this, and it might sound a little bit silly, but the stadium is so central to all of this.
It's not right, is it?
It's just
to go from Upton Park to that.
No.
Yeah, we were just discussing that. So if you look at Upton Park, which was quite a fortress, wasn't it? Teams didn't like to play there.
Yeah, I mean, you can't describe it as a fortress because let's not forget they lost plenty of games there.
No, but it was always a place which it had that
had an edge.
Intimidating. That chicken run was because I was always, when we used to get assessed, we always had an assessor in the stadium. They used to say, "Why did he not get wide and deep?" I said, "Do you think I'm going to fucking go wide over there with a chicken run?"
What was that like actually to referee up to Park?
Intimidating.
Yeah.
It didn't matter which part of the ground you went, you were getting abused.
Yeah.
But it was tight. It was really tight. The atmosphere was incredible, especially if West Ham were playing well. It was an incredible place.
I was saying, I met up with Stan Collymore a number of years ago, and I remember distinctly being going West Ham Liverpool. 8 minutes in, typically he scores. So this is where West Ham Upton Park wasn't a fortress, but he scores. And he scores in front of the Liverpool fans who were in the old South Bank. And he made the mistake of turning left instead of right with his celebration. Goes in front of the chicken run and he stands there, arms out, imperious. And I remember seeing it. And he confirmed it later. A cup of pea hit him square on the head, lobbed from the crowd like that as he's standing there. And it's just splashed off his head and that sort of thing. Yeah. And I remember talking to him about it and he confirmed it. And I thought to myself, wow, that was a good shot.
Quick pee.
Yeah, and also, clearly somebody is standing there with a cup of pee in there, expecting Stan Collymore to score. Yeah. But, and Tony Cascarino I met recently as well. When he played for Millwall, he told me that he was in front of the chicken run warming up and everyone was shouting out, Cass. And he said, I'm not turning around because it was the chicken run. Yeah. He said, I'm not going to turn around because I know what's going to happen. And it's like, Tony, all pleasant. He said, eventually I'm doing my stretches, this, that, the other. He said, eventually I'll just turn around like he said, and about 500 people just gave me a gesture with their right hand, a waggling gesture, if you like, and a W word that followed with it. Yeah. And so that could make it tougher. So, again, so West Ham fans don't expect, and they haven't grown up with teams that win titles. But so I went to the Chelsea game and I'm looking around at that stadium and I call it an end. It's not an end because it's an oval blob, that stadium.
Yeah.
A bit like me when I take my shirt off. and where I was sitting in the upper tier behind the goal, there's actually, between us and the lower tier, there's like a beer garden.
Yeah.
Because there's such a big gap, they've laid artificial turf and picnic benches.
No.
Yeah,
did the atmosphere get any better in the European nights? Did it?
Of course, yeah, it did. But then, so the point I would go on to make is that when West Ham's got a team that might not be playing the best football under David Moyes, but they're an energetic team with Declan Rice in the middle, Jared Bowen and Mikel Antonio, exciting players, Kurt Zouma at the back, and Craig Dawson, who's a colourful character, a bit of a fan's hero. It can be lifted. But you can't. No ground does that week in, week out. But what you do get at West Ham, it drains the players.
Yeah.
That stadium drains the players when things aren't going well. And I was looking around at the stadium the other week against Chelsea on a Friday night, and it was like looking at an ant's nest from above. People are up and down the whole time, walking out, coming in, and it's just constant movement. Yeah. In Upton Park, you daren't leave your seat.
Yeah.
You get it a lot at grounds now. You get it at Arsenal. People are up 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
And going out to get a drink or whatever. And I just think it should be made illegal.
I agree.
It's a 2-year ban if you get up during the first half, unless you need a wee or something like that, or as an emergency.
Yeah.
But at West Ham, it's just exacerbated.
Yeah.
Because that stadium...
It's not designed for football. It's as simple as that, isn't it?
No.
And how can you make a decision to go to a ground that isn't designed for football when your club is the antithesis? It's all about that, isn't it? It's just, I don't know.
That's a question you need to ask.
Yeah.
That's a question that needs to be asked.
What is Upton Park now? How is it?
Flats.
Flats.
Yeah. It's flats now, yeah.
There's a big thing for me with West Ham, right? And you've always got players, I think, that I would pay the ticket price alone for. I could name 50 off the top of my head probably, but Jared Bowen definitely fits that bill for me. But how long can a player like Jared Bowen sort of lift that team and carry that team before he just loses the will to live?
For as long as Danny Dyer keeps threatening him, I would imagine, with mild violence if he leaves.
That's Danny Dyer, the father.
But he was lucky to join West Ham. Yeah. He was in services waiting to sign for Newcastle United.
Was he really?
Mike Ashley pulled the plug for Steve Bruce. Steve Bruce was a manager, and he was at Hull, and they brought him to his services in the north, and Ashley wouldn't pay the money, and he went down to West Ham, which was a crazy thing because Jared Bowen at Hull was sensational, and then he's just upped his game even more at West Ham. Brilliant player,
great player.
I also think that David Moyes probably would have had his pull. Would have had, you'd want to sign for a player like David Moyes.
Yeah.
For all the criticism he got from a lot of West Ham fans, he signed John Stones, didn't he?
Yeah.
Barnsley for Everton. I mean, look at John Stones, fabulous player, Yeah. But I do genuinely worry about Bowen.
Yeah.
I do think to myself, it is actually only the fact that he's married to Danny Dyer's daughter and has got kids down here and that he's the captain that keeps him anchored because. Yeah. He didn't get in the last England games. He didn't play a minute, if I remember rightly. Noni Madueke got in ahead of him. Great player, but I'm really sorry. I think Jared Bowen is a terrific.
He's got that edge, hasn't he?
He's got that edge.
Yeah.
He's got that drive. He's having to be content with 15 minutes here for England, 20 minutes there. If he wants to up that, there's a serious question to be asked. And I think a lot of West Ham fans are in the same position, just wondering how much longer he's going to stick with it.
I think he's in that classic situation for me where he's so much a part of that club, and the only move that I think he could make would be abroad as a result of that. What do you reckon?
Possibly, but he could be one of these players that wants to do what Mark Noble achieved.
Yeah.
Have greatness at a club because, there's a lot of players now, they're down in tools, they're leaving clubs, maybe to get a bigger pay rise, not necessarily the team. But with Jared, maybe he wants to be
the club legend.
A club legend, which Mark Noble was. Mark Noble, when he retired, was a club legend, isn't he?
Could he do that, Jake?
The only problem with Mark Noble is that all four stands, in inverted commas, at West Ham, have got names. Yeah. There's nothing left to name. There's nothing to name after Mark Noble.
Yeah.
Just open a new stadium then.
Yeah. Could that happen, Jake? Do you think West Ham would move again?
Sorry?
Do you think West Ham could move again?
Do you know, all the inquiries I made when I was on The Sun about that stadium, it's up for sale if the price is right.
Yeah.
But again, you look at the way West Ham spend money, I can't see them. No. They've got such a great deal. Was it 3.5 million, 4 million quid a year rent? Why are they going to fork out to buy it, to take on all the issues that need to be done with it? But with Bowen, it's ultimately what he wants because he could go higher. And what really broke my heart was the incident at Wolves, wasn't it, when they got knocked out in the League Cup the other night, and he got involved with some fans. So I don't know what was said. I can't imagine any West Ham fan in their right mind was having a go at Jared Bowen.
Yeah,
there was probably something was said. It was miscommunicated. It was something about the team.
Yeah,
and he's just flipped, and he's every right to flip.
Yeah.
As well. It really saddened me to see that.
But that's the opposite side effect to me. I think that shows the player cares.
Yeah.
If a player just walks off, and we see this in modern football now, players just walk off. They don't even acknowledge the fans anymore. So for me, if Jared Bowen's, I'm sure the fans weren't happy because of the start of the season, the form they're in, the negativity around the club. If a fan's having a go, I think it shows a bit of passion back. If a player's having a bit of a pop back, maybe it wouldn't be. I think Jared Bowen, the way I've seen him and I've refereed him, he's quite a measured character. Gentle guy. I wouldn't believe Jared Bowen would be aggressive back. I think maybe, communication where a fan's having a go and he's trying to settle it down and try to explain things. But
it was the same with Eric Dyer, wasn't it, a few years back?
Remember that?
When he went piling into the stand. Sometimes, even the nice guys just flip because you don't know what gets said. And, but of all the people to get involved with, there are so many more at that club that deserve the criticism rather than Jared Bowen, who is every week.
He gives it everything, doesn't he? Yeah. Is there anything in the rumours, do you think, and you probably know about this as well, Mark, about Nuno and West Ham? Do you think he's already being lined up?
This is an interesting point because I've heard other names as well.
Yeah.
And it's all like Kieran McKenna was being linked as well.
Was he?
The thing with Nuno, the thing with all the recent managers, they've always been out of work managers. Mm-hmm. And Mark and I were discussing this earlier, that West Ham, I can't remember the last time they went for like Tottenham went for Thomas Frank. Thought, you know what, this guy's done a great job at Brentford. Let's take him up.
And he's still doing a great job. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they took him at his peak.
Great guy. Really, really engaging manager. An absolute pleasure to talk to in a press conference and interview. But West Ham don't seem to have that aggressive. You know what? We're taking this club on as a project.
Yeah,
we're building and building and building. It's like, well, that bloke's worked in the Premier League. He's now been sacked. He's out of work. Therefore, there's no compensation to pay.
Yeah.
You know, if you think about it, let's say you went for Glasner. You could say to Glasner, you know what? You've done a great job. You've won the Cup of Palace. Come and see us. What we're planning to do. You know, come and see us. Iriola at Bournemouth. Come and look at us. I know you've done a great job at Bournemouth, but come to a team that's the next level.
Here's our plan. This is where we're going.
This is where we're going.
Spearhead of that.
Yeah, but if you're a coach who's already got established teams, he's done wonderfully well at Bournemouth, why would he go to a huge turmoil? If I believe like Tottenham, Frank going to Tottenham was a great fit because Tottenham had foundations, didn't they? You know, they had a foundation. Could they go to the next level, which I think Frank can get them to the next level? West Ham needs a lot of reconstruction, and I'm not sure a coach can go in. A, have they got the energy? And B, have they got the time? Because we're saying, you know, Potter's tried, and you look at the signings that West Ham have sold and brought through, is like, that's not rebuilding.
Yeah.
You know, there's no foundations there.
One thing, though, you do get at West Ham if you're a manager is a bit of time.
Yeah.
They don't sack you.
No,
willy-nilly, do they?
Yeah,
they're going to have to make a decision with Potts soon because, you know, there's another, international window next month? Mm-hmm. And always around the international windows, the owners start getting a little bit excited, don't they?
But if you keep getting managers that are out of work and looking for a job, you maybe not getting that kickstart.
Yeah, I just don't think as a West Ham fan you can have a manager who's done Wolves, Spurs, Forest, and then West Ham. I think West Ham would warm to that at any point.
Or were you only putting Nuno in this because of his last previous season at Forest?
Yeah.
You know, he's been at Forest. He was at Forest 3 seasons and...
Yeah, he did a good job. You can't argue with it. Right, we're going to move on to Chelsea now, boys. Back in the Champions League tonight. So that's the first time in 2 years, isn't it? One of the league's great unknowns, Andy. Right? I can't keep up with their transfer activity. You know, I've got a list of players in and out here. It's wild. I mean, I'm not even going to read it out because there must be about 30 names in front of me. But you know, what are your thoughts? You know, are they playing a long game here, or are they just chucking money at the problem?
Well, this is what everybody's waiting to see, because you know you can't deny they've moved on from when the Americans took over. It's a bizarre business plan, business model that they've got, and for a while nobody thought it was going to work. The interesting thing, you know, the interesting story that sticks to mind is the 7 or 8 year contracts they were giving players. Everybody's recoiled and gone, what are they doing? It's going to be a disaster. But then you see slowly other clubs are now starting to copy that and tie players down to these massive contracts. They forced UEFA to act over the payment schedules. That is now a maximum of 5 years to pay for a player. So people are copying it a little bit. What is weird about it is that they're, you know, you have to have players to stick around a while to get an identity. Now they're getting a couple like Caicedo, Fernandes there in the heart of midfield who are sticking around, maybe giving them a bit of identity. But as far as like wingers go, this is a really bad joke, but there's more wingers than KFC, right?
I just said that.
I could come up with, I'm sorry. But, you know, it's such a turnstile, and the way their club is set up, you know, the way they operate on a match day as well, it's not like the old Chelsea. You know, it's
CFC LDN, you mean?
Yeah, CFC LDN, yeah. You know, and the dugout club. The ticket. So I was there. Who was the guy who played Bob Dillon in the movie?
Timothy Chalamet.
Yes. He was there a few weeks back for the Chelsea-Fulham game. Now, the thing that really annoyed me, he was 5 minutes late getting back to his seat for the second half, and people were getting up and being nice about it. At Upton Park, you wouldn't have got that. Hollywood star or not, you wouldn't have got that. Yeah. But it's all that Americanization of it. And there's a kind of it's like there's not a squad, there's a roster.
Oh yeah.
And the story that sticks in my mind. I was watching Tottenham on the box last night, and Renato Veiga starts just drifts onto my screen. I thought, I remember him. I remember talking to him at a Conference League game, and he was saying how he loves playing for Chelsea and blah blah blah. And I remember the day he signed, and Chelsea put a little video on their website, and I watched this video, and they were introducing him, and he said, Yeah, well, I couldn't remember the player's name. He said, one of my best mates is here and I can't wait to play with him. The guy he was talking about had already left.
Did he not know?
Yeah, he'd gone. I think to Strasbourg. I really wish I could remember his name, but he'd already gone. Yeah. So by the time Viega had done the deal and signed, his best mate had gone. And then within a year, 18 months, whatever it was, Viega's gone.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's hard to keep up with. And being the age I am, I've got a lot of mates where I live, particularly, who are big Chelsea supporters, season ticket holders. Yeah. And they see this sort of erosion of the identity. Yeah. And whether or not it's working, okay, they got into the Champions League. That's progress. That you can't deny that's progress. They spent a lot of money getting there. And they're drawing with Brentford and they're drawing at home to Crystal Palace.
Well, that was always going to happen. I said this at the start.
Did you know in advance?
Yeah, because because I said playing in that Club World Cup was going to damage something at
in
the
those
start of the
conditions
season.
as well.
Yeah, because that took.
Yeah.
They didn't come back till late, and they did extremely well, by the way, in that club competition. Earned a lot of money, which helps their transfer dealings. And I just think Chelsea, you're not going to see the best of Chelsea for the next international window. And I like watching Chelsea. I think Chelsea are a good attacking team.
Could they win the Champions League?
Now, possibly.
Do you reckon?
If you saw the way they play Paris,
they could go far. I can't see them winning it.
But they play, when I watched them in the final, yes, Paris Saint-Germain wanted to win that final. And I thought Chelsea were fantastic, tactically fantastic. If you get a good run in that Champions League, who would have thought Inter Milan, for example, last year, the way they competed to get to the final? Yeah, you need some luck along the way, but you can see Chelsea's still competing.
I think as much as... So the thing about Chelsea in the Club World Cup, and I was thinking about this afterwards, because I was there for the duration with them, and all that young squad that they keep talking about. So Levi Colville was saying, this competition is going to be huge. We love it. It's been brilliant. That's because they're 21, 22.
Yeah.
It's their first big tournament, and they're all together, and they're buzzing off it, absolutely understandably. Yeah, no. Ask them when they're all season pros of 28, 29, do you enjoy playing in the Club World Cup in June and July? And you might get a different answer. At the moment, they've got this rush of ambition that maybe Paris Saint-Germain didn't have in the Club World Cup final, and they were able to sort of just overwhelm them. They've also got some fabulous players. I mean, João Pedro looked absolutely gold dynamite, if you like, in the Club World Cup when he came on. Totally, and Liam Delap totally transformed their forward line. Cole Palmer, when he's in the mood, absolutely, he's
the players are there, aren't they?
Intelligent footballer.
Players are there.
So they've got that aspect to it. Whether that's enough when the going gets really serious in the Champions League come February, March time, that's a whole different level to the Club World Cup in July, I think.
Yeah. Behind Liverpool, Europe's second highest spenders. Interesting though, they spent 284 million, but they made 288 million. There's plenty of players out as well.
I always laugh because everybody says when a player signs for Chelsea, when they sell, it doesn't matter if they ever play. Yeah. It could be sitting on the bench for 2 years and they sell for either sometimes more money than they actually bought them for. They're clever in their transfer deal.
And this is a point, though, that strikes me about Chelsea. And when you think about the human level of football, so this deal for Nicholas Jackson, who will, I don't know whether he'll play against them tonight because Harry Kane's there, obviously. So there's the loan deal with the view to sort of like the headline figure was 70.5 million quid. Bayern say it's unlikely he'll meet the criteria, but whatever. If that deal comes off, 70.5 million quid for a player they paid 32 million quid for, that's amazing business as far as Chelsea's concerned. Amazing. Yeah. But the impact that whole drama had on Jackson, what's the price there that he's paying? I mean, we all dismiss players and say, well, they get paid a lot of money, they should be able to deal with it. Okay, great. That's on the surface. That bloke, he played his heart out for Chelsea. Okay, I never thought he was really Premier League standard. Kept caught offside too much. Discipline was pretty poor. Yeah. But he's landed in Germany thinking he's getting this move away because he hasn't got a future at Chelsea. And then as soon as he lands, right, Liam Delap's injured, you're coming back.
Yeah, it's not even we want you back.
Not even we want
mess with your head.
It's not like Todd Bowley's rung him up or Bedadig Barley and said, you know what, we've made a terrible mistake. You're actually brilliant.
Which must mess your head up.
And he said so. I think he did a press conference yesterday and he said it was a really, really tough few days. Yeah. Fair play to him. He's kicked off and said, I'm not coming back. let's get this deal done. So you've got enormous strength of character to turn around and do that. So you think for every Nicholas Jackson, there are players who aren't quite as strong-minded who are going into that club and they're sitting around for a year or two. I mean, look at Ben Chilwell. Yeah. I mean, he's gone to Strasbourg now, hasn't he, I believe. But it messes with your mind.
Raheem Sterling. Is this the biggest test of his mental aptitude as a professional footballer now, training on his own?
I would say he's of an age now where he's at the stage now where he's like, you know what, I'll stay fit. I'm ready for duty. Yeah. I'll pick up the money. I want to play. However, you've got to make it worth my while. Yeah. So last season, Chelsea were paying 2/3 of his $300,000 a week wages. He goes to Arsenal, trains, he's ready, he's there. Didn't have a particularly good season. So I think Sterling's a different
stage of his career.
But for younger players, those, particularly those coming through the academy, they're getting so far.
What to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah, it's tough to deal with when all of a sudden you're more important on the PSR balance sheet than you are on a football pitch, and that's the Chelsea model.
Yeah, it was like Dewsbury Hall, for example, wasn't it? Yeah. To bring Dewsbury Hall in from Leicester doesn't really cut it at Chelsea. Back out to Everton and they balance the books perfectly well, don't they? So,
okay.
Yeah, it's and Conor Gallagher.
Yeah, okay. He should never have left. What a player he was. Right, we've got two very special guests. The last time they sat in front of a laptop with fancy sofas in front of them, and there were a lot more Perspex heels involved. Welcome to Whistleblowers podcast, the one and only David Bentley and Graham Stack. All right, lads.
How you doing? You all right?
Yeah.
You all right?
Really
Hi,
good.
boys.
What a fucking pair of mischievous two rascals we have today on the podcast. I don't know who's more mischief, Bentley or Stack, but I'm going to start with Stacky, because Stacky, the greatest club you ever played for, north of the border, Hibs. How much did you enjoy your time at Hibs?
I loved it, mate. I loved the city, loved the people. Had a bit of success there. Scottish Cup final, played in Europe for Hibs as well. Played under Yogi, who I absolutely loved to pieces as a manager, and just come out of the city still with a lot of good friends. Loved the derby days, probably the best derby I've played in. Played in quite a few, but yeah, I really did just, the city suited me down to the ground, really. I love the people up there, the passion, love their football, and they're, very similar to myself, mate, I think.
Yeah, absolutely loved it when you were there, Stacky. Such a special time when you were in Edinburgh, mainly because we got involved in a few nights out we can't talk about. David Bentley as well. It's one of these questions I always tend to ask players, that did you never fancy a little trip north of the border, in your career to play for Rangers or Celtic or even Hibs?
I'd have loved to have done that. I mean, I think there was a couple of opportunities, sort of loan deals that were potentially for Celtic and Rangers, but they never materialised. But no, I love it. Love to have played up there. Obviously, one of my favourite players, Gazza, he played up there, so I watched quite a lot of Scottish football when he was up there. So I'd have loved it. I'd have fitted straight in, wouldn't I?
Oh,
I'd have loved it.
I was going to say it had shortened your career, but
couldn't have been any shorter.
I was at that game. It was Ibrox v Hibs when he got booked for booking the referee. Mark,
yeah,
remember
that? Yeah.
What would you have done in that situation?
Absolute no chance. I wouldn't have. If I dropped my yellow card and somebody give us it back, I would have just laughed and joked.
You'd have sent him off, you miserable bastard.
Depends who it was. Depends who it was. If it was John Terry, I would have given the red card.
I've done that before myself when I was at Eastleigh, but I took the card out of his pocket and booked him, and I conceded from the corner.
You took it out of his pocket.
I'll start with you, Ben. Can you remember being refereed by Mark Clattenburg, and what was your relationship like when he was in charge?
I'm sure you sent me off.
Did I?
My only sending off. I'm sure it
was. Was it at Blackburn?
Yeah, Blackburn versus West Ham, and I handballed it. And I'm sure it was you.
Oh man,
we used to have a great relationship. You're a good guy on the pitch. You used to always mug me off if I missed the target. I used to love it.
You see, but he was always one of them special players. I used to always say, when I used to referee David Bentley, I used to say he was one of the best players I was refereeing in the Premier League. He was such a talented player. Mm-hmm. And then I met him a few times in La Sala, and I would say the same thing with a few sherbets in us.
Yeah. Getting on a dance floor. That's another thing we can't talk about.
Tell us about what you're doing then. So you're promoting ex-athletes who are getting in the ring and having a scrap. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, so look, it's a little bit more than that, to be fair. Look, we're trying to raise £500,000 for charity. Ultimately, that's our goal. and with the support and the participation from a number of lads that I've got to say have been unreal from the start. Some of them work full time, some of them have got families. They've really sort of got their teeth into it, training, some of them day in, day out, and made a lot of sacrifices. And without them, this simply won't work. But ultimately, there's obviously raising money is one thing. Everyone having a cracking night is going to be an absolute certainty. But for me, it was how can we get together as ex-athletes and players? How can we collaborate? How can we help each other? It's definitely helped me. I've been kept busy trying to organise it all. Been great to be in touch with the lads on the phone, down and watching. I'm actually at Dale Youth now. I'm with George Groves and Marvin Elliott, and he's downstairs on the pads. And just seeing the lads back at work, smile on their face, physically better, mentally probably better. They've got something to work toward. That adulation at the end of a fight is probably as close as you'll get to scoring a goal or saving a penalty, I'd imagine, in front of loads of people. So I think everyone wins, basically. If we get this right, and I'm sure we will do, the people we've got involved, the support I've had from the boxing world and the football world has just been unreal. We've got 5 ex-world champions, maybe 6 training our boxers now. I've been to Swansea, watched Leeds Rundle with Enzo Macronelli at Macronelli's gym. I'm here today. And with Benson, Kevin Mitchell on Friday, Nini Hughes, world champion, Dave Coldwell, David Barker. They've all really helped me out. So look, it's going to be a special event. Ultimately, it's all about fundraising. I've said already, I'm not a boxing promoter, far from it. But lucky enough for me, I've got a lot of people that like me and respect what I'm doing and want to get behind it. And it's with that support from everyone involved that we can really, really make a dent and raise some serious money and help some wonderful charities. Obviously, the Willow Foundation is someone close to my heart. Bob Wilson was the one that identified me and got me into Arsenal. He sort of, without him, I probably wouldn't have had the career I had. And that was an opportunity for me to help pay him back and raise some money for his wonderful charity. And look, there's deeper stories, deeper meanings for me. I've been in hospitals with these kids, been on days out with them. And I know what a difference it's going to make, not just to the kids, but to the families, to their siblings, and to the people that actually work within the charities itself. So we are getting there, lads. But as I say, the support has been unreal.
Absolutely world-class, Stacky. Fair play to you. Brilliant idea.
Look, the tone of the event is 3 2-minute rounders, right? It's head guard, 16-ounce gloves. We don't want anyone to get hurt. We want them to get in there and have a scrap, which is what it will be, because you know anyone who plays elite sport, whether it's game of pool, game of chess, you get over that, you get in that ring and you get the gloves on, you're going to want to win the fight. And that's the mentality I think the boys have got. That's what people are going to want to see. They're going to want to see a bit of a performance. No one likes getting beat. Otherwise, they wouldn't have had the career they've had.
Where is it, Stacky? Where's the fight happening?
It's at the Grosvenor House Hotel. It's on the 18th of October in Park Lane, Mayfair. There's table packages available. We still have quite a few tables to get through and sell. We're offering up sponsorship for 2 of the corner posts for a business that wants some visibility. This is potentially going to be on TalkSport and other platforms, viewed to millions. You can sponsor a boxer, so they walk out with your logo on their robe. You get to keep the robe after, signed by the boxer. So we're looking at other avenues to try and increase revenue that obviously will then go towards hitting our target. So we do need help. We want as many people to come as possible. We understand that tables are not cheap. We do get that. But to get to where we need to get to in terms of raising our total goal, that's where we're at.
Brilliant. Right, David Bentley, who should I put my money on, you or Jody Morris?
Hey, don't worry, I like Jody. What a player he was, but yeah, I'm flamboyant, you know. He's going to come in like little Rottweiler, and I'm flamboyant.
That's an expensive set of ashes you've got in there, David Bentley. Are you not worried in any way about getting them knocked out?
I need some mouth guard for this, don't it?
You could eat an apple through a letterbox for them. In all seriousness, I mean, how well prepared are you for this physically to fight Jody? Because I've seen him in the gym putting a shift in. Yeah,
no, I've been in strength and conditioning for the last 2 weeks, sorting out the diet, then hit the ring and have a few. I've got a few sparring sessions lined up. So yeah, no, I'll be fully ready. On the bag every day. I've got a bag at home, so I'm doing that. And fully ready, you know. It's like me dance moves, though. Right? You see me dance moves at Cheltenham.
If you had to describe yourself as a boxer, what kind of style can we expect to see? How would you compare yourself?
Probably a cross between Muhammad Ali, Tyson Fury, and Usyk.
The three best in the world.
and Rylan. and what are the tactics then, David? What are you going to do when you approach Jody Morris? Have you thought about your strategy against them?
You look to catch him with a big right hook. Go on, Jody. I mean, going into the ring, just all jokes aside, it's actually it's a good opportunity to pick up a different discipline. Obviously support Stacky, and what a great guy he's been and a great character in the game. And obviously me and him growing up at Arsenal. We met a young girl on a golf day, if you remember, Stacky, and bless her heart, she lost her life. And I think it touched both of us. And it's about going into the boxing ring as well. And all jokes aside, I know I'm a joker, but I am taking it serious and so on. And it's about respecting. I want to go into the ring and respect the sport. I've got a couple of sessions with Kevin Mitchell. I think I'm going into Ben Davidson's gym in Arlo, where I'm going to be getting my head smashed off. Somebody's going to be trying to knock the teeth out. About respect, I want to respect the sport and go in and have really enjoy the night, really enjoy the training, and I am enjoying it and looking forward to it.
Stacky, can you remember the first time you set eyes on David Bentley as a young man at Arsenal? And how will that compare to seeing him walk out in the ring on this night in Park Lane?
What I'll say, listen, over a 20-year career, I've come across a lot of players, a lot of characters, some top players, international players. Listen, David Bentley is one of the best in terms of his character, what he gives to a changing room, a group. But not only does he give you so much within a changing room and off the pitch, it's what he does on the pitch, and he's always delivered events. And he's always been very helpful. He's just been. Well, look, it's very obvious for everyone to see. He's a cracking character. Something that the game is lacking massively at the minute, in my opinion, and has done for a number of years. I feel like the game's kind of falling apart at the seams in that sense, in terms of there's just real lack of characters and charisma, and and a bit of fun. It's all very robotic and prescribed at the minute. So. Listen, Bentley's always been a top player. I think his career speaks volumes for what he's done. Could he have done more? I reckon he should have played 50 times for England. There's no doubt about that. But listen, there's plenty of other players that could have done the same. But he should be a very, very proud man, Bent, because he has got a lot of friends and he is very well liked. And that's not easy to do over that period of time, with so many people under so many managers. So I've got massive respect for Bent.
Cheers, mate. Love you.
Magic. Stacky, this is the first time you've done this, but can you see this becoming a more regular event in the calendar every year?
Yeah, well, look, the plan is for me, right, is to do one up in Liverpool in June, and then come back to the Grosvenor next October and have the 5 best Southerners against the 5 best Northerners, and then potentially look to move it around the UK, potentially come up to Edinburgh, do one up there with 10 Scottish fighters. And then who knows? Look, we've had opportunities and conversations about doing it with ex-rugby players. Not that I'm great in that space. I don't know many people, and I think obviously a lot of my friends were within football, so I don't want to run before I can walk. But I want to get this one off the ground, and then we'll see where we go from there. But yeah, I have got plans. I want to raise £1 million a year next year. That's where I'm at with it all. But we just need to get this one right, and we need to get the support and backing of everyone.
Boys, I'm gonna have to jump off. I'm on Talk Sport and I'm with Majestic. October 18th. Over the House Hotel. Come and see. Hey!
David Bentley, thank you very much. All the best, young man.
Good luck, man.
Love you all. Have a good night.
See you
later.
Have a good
one.
Nice
good luck,
to see you
Riley.
again.
Stacky, stick with us a little bit longer because Mark had a question.
I was just thinking, Stacky.
Yeah.
I might come out of retirement and become a boxing ref, and I can come on,
Why not, mate? I tell you, why not? That'd be brilliant. It'd be brilliant. Listen, I'd love, as I say, look, I don't know what I don't know how hard that is to do, but listen, I want to try and reunite ex-footballers and coaches and everything, because listen, we know how tough it is at times, and I know when you finish playing, you finish coaching. It's not always easy. There's always a void there. There's always disappointment. You get disillusioned. You lose confidence. Phone stops ringing. The engagement with supporters and whatever else is sort of dulls down. So look, Mark, listen, you're a cracking man. Unfortunately, I never played at the highest level as Bentley. I never really come across you a great deal, but obviously massive respect as well for yourself and what you give to the game of football, and obviously who you are now as well.
Absolutely brilliant, Stacky, and really grateful to have you on, and best of luck with the event. What did we say, the 18th of October, Park Lane, Grosvenor House?
Yeah, 18th October, you got it, buddy. Yeah, Grosvenor House, Park Lane. If you can help us out in terms of trying to get this out there and get people to sort of buy into it, if anyone wants to attend, you can just go to the website, which is proprojectpromotions.com. You can look at table packages and register your info so we can get something sorted out.
Sensational stuff, Graham Stack. Thank you very much. It's called A Night to Remember. It definitely will be for a number of reasons, I'm sure. Best of luck, Graham Stack. Thanks for coming on. Right, boys, thank you very much for your time on the podcast today. That is it for the latest episode of Whistleblowers. We're back on Tuesday for the next one. Until then, give us a follow on socials. You can email us as well, whistleblowers@dailymail.com, and on X @BlowersPod, TikTok @WhistleblowersPodcast, on Instagram @WhistleBlowersPod. Andy Dillon, thanks for making an appearance.
Thanks for having me on, Gordon. It's been great fun.
Who was the greatest ever West Ham one appearance wonder?
What's that, sorry?
The greatest ever West Ham one appearance wonder. Can you think of anybody?
Oh, wow.
The shortest ever West Ham career?
Well, it wasn't one, but do you remember Marco Boogers?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, the striker who ran off to live in a caravan. And, I think he got sent off on his debut at Old Trafford, actually.
Yeah.
Took somebody out with a knee-high tackle.
Appropriate, really, because Andy Dillon today after this will run off to go and spend the rest of the
with Marco Boogers in a caravan.
I would commission that documentary for Netflix. Dillon and Boogers in a caravan in Camber Sands. Thanks so much, Andy.
Thank
Dillon.
you very much.
Great to see you. Right, Mark, can you do the honours? Did you bring your whistle with you?
Did I hell?
One job. Blow the full time
Paolo
whistle.
one job.
Paolo one job. Thank you very much for watching Whistleblowers. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Remember, episodes every Thursday and Tuesday, and on a Sunday, you'll get our clip of the week.